Hi everyone, Michelle Deck here in Branson, Missouri. We're here accelerating your artistry this year. We're so excited about our songwriting series. I hope you've been finding these little snippets beneficial. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects. This is a good illustration. Your beauty is timeless. Your face could stop a clock. Says the very same thing, but it's about the words you choose. One may get you a date, one may get you killed, But this particular segment is about choosing winning words for your lyric. One of my favorite topics. It's so important to find concise, creative, unique words. It's so easy to choose trite, common words and a lot of adjectives to modify your words when you can do other choices that are more powerful. For instance, a good example of what I call trite rhymes or trite phrases. In gospel music, for instance, I use this illustration. Jesus died upon a tree for you and me on Calvary to set us free. Very true, good message, nothing wrong with it, but it's been said that way thousands of times. Avoid trite, common words and phrases that have been used over and over and over. Find a fresh way to say a timeless truth or just a new way to treat your subject. One of the first things you want to decide when you're looking at your lyric is your language style. Most of the time your lyric's going to be conversational. You want it to flow easily like you're talking to a neighbor, if that's the mode, the tone of your song. It can be comedy. Is it comic? Is it colloquial? Perhaps you're doing a country song and you've got some country phrases. That's great. There's some great songs that have been written on phrases that are definitely more southern or country in origin. Is it a grand and dignified type of song? Your language is going to reflect that. Is your song hip? Or is it tender? I mean, depending on the style of the song, your plot, the way you're approaching your song, you could have all different kinds of language. Just decide what type of language fits your song and, of course, be consistent with it. One of the things that is so important for songwriters to learn is to be concise. Throughout time, some of the most timeless phrases we've heard are boiled down to just a few words. For instance, Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death." What if he had said, "Being executed is preferable to living without freedom"? Says the same thing, but boiled down to "give me liberty or give me death" has so much more emotional punch. I don't think the other phrase would have been remembered down through the years to us talking about it today, but the boiled down, concise, powerful punch of those few words can be timeless. Find phrases that are like that. Eliminate words that are clutter. Some cluttering words are but, well, so, then, and just is a big clutter word that's very, very common. Find other ways to phrase your words or just eliminate those clutter words altogether. Find words that are packed full of imagery, that will paint a picture, words that will have an emotional punch rather than just something that may say what you wanted to say but doesn't have a real emotional punch. For instance, I'm going to give you some examples of words, just descriptions that instead of just an adjective and a noun can be used differently and pack a whole lot more punch. For instance, if you have the phrase "a heavy rain," you could change that to "downpour." That has a lot more imagery and even feel it. Heavy rain is nice, but a downpour that has a lot more descriptive imagery and even an emotional punch like, "Oh no, get out of here." A short letter, you could change that to a note. It's simple, it's concise. A festive party could be a bash. To me the bash sounds a whole lot more fun than just a festive party. A surprise inheritance could be a windfall. A small amount could be a pittance. So you can see where you can take 2 or 3 words, condense them down into one word that has a much more descriptive and emotional punch. For some verbs, condense modified verbs. Drink noisily, change it to slurp. Walk slowly can become amble. Strike heavily can become pound. or hammer. I've used that before. Speak haltingly, stammer or stutter. Move nervously, fidget. It just gives you some ideas. Take words that would have an adjective or an adverb. Find ways to put those together and make more descriptive, more punchy words. Find some popular songs, especially great songs from Broadway, and see how they use creative, unusual words to pack a lot of meaning in a very short amount of words. I think it's really exciting to study that and get some great ideas of your own. So when you're using strong nouns and verbs like that, you can convey some imagery. You're showing them your scene. You're showing them the picture of your song, not just telling them. And that can be really a powerful tool to draw your listener in. Whatever words you choose, keep it concise. Try to use as few words as possible without confusing your meaning. But it's so important, we'll talk about this later when we discuss rhyme. Don't change your meaning for the sake of an easy rhyme. That's a very, very easy temptation, and I find myself fighting it all the time. Just for the sake of rhyming something, settling for a word that's, oh, it's nice, but it doesn't elevate your plot. It doesn't further your story. It's confusing, waters things down. Reword the phrase if you're having difficulty with rhyming a word that you really feel needs to be rhymed, but it's just not coming together. Take that line and rework it, change it up a little bit so you find a little easier way to make that rhyme without sacrificing your meaning. The concise power and punch of your words is paramount in a good, strong lyric that's going to connect with your audience. We often talk about your hook lines and how you need to repeat that hook, and absolutely, yes, your hook is the most memorable part of your song, but at the same time you don't want to be redundant with your verses, with your chorus saying the same thing every time. As you develop your verses, develop new thoughts, see how that hook can develop along the path of your song. So choose words that will be powerful with a lot of punch and will take your story along. There's one song I want to give you as a great example. I'm not going to try to quote it because it's rather long, but look it up on a lyric site. The song is called "I'm Gonna Hire a Wino to Decorate Our Home." It was written by Dwayne Blackwell and recorded by David Frizzell, F-R-I-S-E-L-L, so you can look it up under the artist name David Frizzell. It is a beautiful fabulation mode, something that could happen, but it's probably not going to. It's pretty unlikely. That's one of the modes we talked about in the last segment. But it is so funny. The wife is talking about, in order to keep her husband home, she's going to hire a wino, decorate her home so that he'll be totally comfortable there and won't have to go anywhere else. And the words, the descriptions, the phrasing, you can see it, you can smell it, you can experience. It's just a masterful lyric. The lyric itself is just tremendous. So I encourage you to look that song up. I'm Gonna Hire a Wino to Decorate Our Home, to give you an example of, now this is a very stylistic, southern type, obviously a barroom type song, but that language and the very unique words that are used, it's told from the wife's perspective. It's just masterful. So that's a great example to see the way you can choose unique, powerful, punchy words to get across your meaning. This is a skill that you develop over time. I confess, I look back at our older songs and it's like, oh boy, that's, gets the thought across, but I could have said the same thing in one sentence versus an entire verse. So it's something you get good at, learning to chop things down, get concise, eliminate the clutter out of your thoughts. And you can pack a whole lot more meaning in a smaller amount of words and make the song much more interesting and intriguing. So keep working on that skill. Study other great popular songs. The radio is a songwriting university, as Mary Dawson says. So I encourage you to let us know what you think. Give us some comments. This is just a little bit of ideas about choosing your words. If you have some other suggestions, other resources, let us know. And we appreciate you so much. Share this with somebody who is developing their songwriting craft or would like some other fresh ideas, and see how it can benefit them as well. So thanks again for being part of our Michelle Deck family as we accelerate your artistry this year. God bless y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.